Hello, beautiful and handsome world changers. Welcome back to the Nomad CEO podcast. I am Kenz, and I am so pumped to talk about today's episode. I do say that a lot, but it's true, right? Because why would I want to talk about something that I'm not excited to talk about, or that's close to home, or just like really gets me going. So there's a lot to be said about social media. And I want to just speak on my personal relationship with it. And I talk about this a lot, but I'll just summarize it here if this is your first time hearing this. I deleted social media back in 2016 at a personal development conference. And it was really hard for me at the time because I had got done traveling overseas for 8 months. And this was, I think, the summer after that. But I was like yearning to get back abroad. And all my friends that I was traveling with, literally every single one of them was in a different country. And I was comparing where they were to where I was. And I'd also battled a lot with comparing myself to other women and how they looked and how I looked and all that stuff. So I deleted it. And in that time, I want to say this, like if someone's in a place where like, I need to delete social media, I just want you to know it's worth it. Like as much as I'm like now on the other side and I'm very much so building all social media platforms, it is so coming from a place of pure alignment and connection and contribution. It is not coming from a place of needing validation or wanting my name to be, about me. And my caveat to this is like, do I have moments of wanting to be validated? Do I have moments of that it is about me? Yes, I'm human. But I can tell you with my hand on a freaking Bible that is not why I got back on it. That is not really the true reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I have my validation and my, sense of self rooted in other things. But when I first deleted social media, I didn't. But by deleting it, it created the space for me to figure that out. And it took me 8 years before I was healthy enough to get back online. But I want to talk about a couple like practical things that really helped me that if you're considering deleting social media, that you can take into consideration. Or maybe it's not fully deleting it black and white like I did. Maybe it's just employing really clear boundaries with yourself that protect your health mentally, physically, and I say physically because how many times we stay up late at night on social media or whatever and not getting enough sleep, right? You know what I mean? So it does have physical implications. But anyway, so when I deleted it, almost immediately, I had actually started a photo stream, if you know what that is. It's a photo sharing album, essentially, on iPhones. I had started that with some of my business partners and friends at the time. And so there was, I don't know, maybe like 12 of us, 15 of us on it, something like that. I can't remember the exact number, but it wasn't huge, but it was like a decent, small little group of us. And I started this photo stream where like as soon as we subtract something, in my opinion, it's really important to add something in. So like health, for example, if you're trying to not eat sugar, which that was my first addiction, then if we want to subtract that and say no to that, it's helpful for our brain to focus on when we get to add in and say yes to. So physiologically speaking, you can add in healthy fats and protein and fiber, herbs and supplements, magnesium, like these different things that will physiologically help your body not crave the sugar. There's things like reading out candida. I mean, this is a whole conversation we can go down, but if we want to say no to something that we're battling with, I think it's really helpful and healthy to identify what's the healthy alternative. So this was that for me with social media. So I got on PhotoStream and I don't remember the exact timelines, but let's just call it a few years. I was posting on that all the time. Like I would go to Pinterest and I would pull like so many travel photos and luxurious lifestyle and all this stuff. And I would post it on this PhotoStream and so would my friends. And then we'd go to like conferences together when we hung out, when we focused on business stuff. And we'd all post on there. So it was our own little private social media that was really curated around very positive things. And we were all really unified in our vision and values. So it was very life-giving. And for me, it was a good gap filler to still build relationships, still connect with people, still contribute. But it was in a I think of it kind of like a study, right? Like this constant variable kind of group where there's enough sense of control that I had over it that I wouldn't, on social media, get online and my algorithm would show me something that I allowed to upset me and throw off my day, or someone would say something. This was a protected, almost like sacred group, right? And so that was really, really, really helpful. And then I also replaced it with reading books. So I got my face out of Facebook and got my face in actual books, not long. No, yeah, literally that was that summer. Man, 2016 was a game changer freaking year, man. Deleted social media, overcame my eating disorder, and stopped drinking alcohol, which is wild. So it was a big year, big 6 months. So the domino effect of that. But I started reading books and I would hang out at Barnes & Noble on weekend nights because I didn't want to feel like a loser as a mid-20-somethings at home alone reading books. So I'd go to and I didn't have the money to buy a ton of books. So I'd go to Barnes & Noble and I would just read their books. Didn't buy a lot of them. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Barnes & Noble. Yeah, that's just what I did. So anyways, it was a replacement habit that then still fed my mind, but again, more intentionally of like, I'm choosing to put this topic of this book into my mind versus randomly coming across things online of other people, what they said that maybe I didn't, wasn't helpful for me to hear. So in that time of taking away, I added in, and then I also started to critically think about why are people on social media? Why is this such a weapon for so many of us? And what's crazy in that time, I was building a business where it was very people oriented. So I was meeting people all the time. And whenever I met someone at the gym or out and about, grocery store, whatever, which yes, I am that person. I will make friends in the grocery store. Well, I'll say I became that person. I wasn't originally that person. I became her because that's what was in my mind required to get where I wanted to go and to build more relationships, right? Like I'm in the grocery store and people are there. I want to meet people. Boom. Anyway, so sorry if you are weirded out by that, but that's just what's up. So I would tell people, they're like, oh, like follow me on Instagram or Facebook. And I was like, oh, I don't actually have social media, but I'll get your number. And I'm not joking. I wish I would have actually tracked this so I had the exact percentage. Easily 90% of people would be like, oh, I wish I could do that. Wow, good for you. And after hearing that for so many years, and guys, I have over 4,000 contacts in my phone. So I've had a lot of conversations with people. After hearing that for so long, I just got to the point of like, well, why do we have to feel captive to something? Like that's just like philosophically wrong. You know what I mean? Like why do we feel like we need to be on this thing versus us having the self-awareness and the autonomy to say, no, I'm choosing to be on this thing with intention and have healthy boundaries so I can sustain it. And so anyways, fast forward, end of 2024, I get back on Instagram. Wasn't on Facebook, wasn't on LinkedIn. I was kind of overwhelmed by all that. I was like, I'm going to start traveling to Asia. I'm traveling again. I want to stay connected and share this. And I want to build something different that connects the world. Or not something different, rather an extension of what I was building, but now it's global. So to me, it was like social media was a really logical way to stay connected to people. And I had total peace about it. I was like, I know who I am. I don't really battle comparison anymore. Do I have my moments? Yeah, maybe, sure. But I've worked so hard at reprogramming my mind that I don't stay there. Even when I got on social media today, if I see a drop dead gorgeous girl in a bikini, she couldn't look any more fit. She's like perfect. I'm like, dang girl, good for you. And I'm like, okay, what did she do to get there? I'm so curious about the price that she paid for this obvious, beautiful prize, good for her, versus being like, oh, I'm lesser than, or I'm unworthy because maybe I don't look exactly like that. And especially being in the fitness world, my gosh. So I've just reprogrammed my brain and I don't even see photos like that really. But if I did, and if I have, then that's where my brain goes of I know what it's like to be super fit and lean. And I know the price you pay, you're going to pay a price. I don't care what freaking Instagram or a reel shows you that it's so easy for people. Most people and their body type and how they live are going to have to make sacrifices for that. And it may not be a physical one. You can look really good on the outside and your internal health sucks. That's basically been the journey I've walked on. Is yeah, I could have all the muscles and six pack all day long, but my gosh, what's going on with my hormones and these toxins that I've been exposed to that I feel like a psychopath with. Oh my gosh. So, there's a lot more to that. There's just a lot more than what meets the eye. There's way more under the surface in the context of health and social media. I digress. So getting back on track, when I got back on, it was I am here and I would love to have a large following. I think that's cool. I think that shows a sense of competence, when you see people oh, they have thousands of followers, cool. They must be an authority or must have some sense of, value to contribute on a mass scale. So I have that, that's great. I think that's awesome. But it's not what drives me. I'm I would way rather have a few hundred or a few thousand people that I'm connected to on social media and actually have had a personal conversation with those people. We may not have anything in common. We may not be in the same part of the world. We may not ever talk again. But did I at least, I'm in the grocery store, I'm at the gym, start a conversation with that person and encourage them, uplift them, where instead I'm not just focused on the quantity and how I look, but the quality and who I am. That I'm a person that loves people and cares for people. And I'm here not just to consume what people work so hard to put out there on social media, but I'm also here to contribute and say, hey, thanks for your contribution. Here's mine. Hopefully I can reciprocate some value back to you. And I will tell you, going in with that mindset of connection and contribution has made it such a healthy game for me. That I love, social media is no longer a weapon. It is a tool. It is a tool to connect. It is a tool to build. It is a tool to create. And it is a beautiful tool. And one other thing I'll have to say, and I'm about out of time here in this studio, so I'm going to wrap it up, but I could talk on this forever. I also know, even with that great intention, in my opinion, you don't have to think it's great. I think it's a good one. It works for me. I'll say that. Is I also know where I'm weak. And so I have an app called Opal, OPAL, and I can even link it in the show notes, that I have downloaded. I pay like $100 a year, which for me is easily pays its sense of value because of the amount of time that I save and mental health. Because I don't necessarily battle comparison, but I can definitely get into the doom scroll. I like to look at funny things, and I work hard and I work a lot and I work on a lot of things and my brain's going a lot. So I do appreciate a good brain break. And there's sometimes I'm like, yeah, I'm just go scroll for 15 minutes and Opal, I unblock it and I'll scroll and I'll consume. I consume things intentionally. I still do that. Like I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing because I'm centered and I know who I am. But this is the thing. Opal helps me because if I wasn't careful, I could easily get sucked on into it for 2 hours or however long a day and multiple days in a row. And then that becomes my life. So I have these intentional guardrails to say, yeah, I'm much better now. I am not the same person and I'm intentionally using this tool. And yet I know I'm also still human and I can, want to take the path of least resistance or distract myself and not deal with things. So it's a tool that helps me use the other tools, right? To me, it helps me stay in a spot that is aligned with my integrity and my intention. So I would say that too, is like, maybe you don't need to fully delete it, but maybe you need to deleting some platforms if it bothers you, or just go back to the drawing board of why are you on social media? Like, who freaking cares if you're off? I don't care if your family's like, oh, I want to see your posts. It's like, no, this is your life. This is your time, your healthy self-image. They can follow other people. Like, don't do it for other people in the sense of if it's pulling away from you. Do it for other people if you are already taken care of. Take care of you first. Oxygen mask, baby. So anyways, again, I have to wrap this up soon, but I hope that this adds value. And again, I could talk about this a lot. If you want to hear more on social media or thoughts on this, let me know. It's a big hot topic of mine because I've lived it, baby. I have lived it. So appreciate you all. Much love. We'll talk soon.